Hi, my name is LaShonda, and I am a 33-year-old woman. I am the mother of 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. I'm here to share my story in regards to teenage pregnancy. I lost my virginity at the age of 14, and I got pregnant at the age of 15. At that time, I was currently a sophomore in high school. I was head of the cheerleading squad, um, very active in school activities and, well, as far as in grades. At the age of 15, I got pregnant for the first time. And at the age of 16, uh, in the month of June of 1993, I had my baby girl. I decided to go back to school and try my best to get myself back involved into the normal activities that I participated in beforehand. At the same time, trying to raise my daughter and get back involved and maintain my schoolwork at the same time was very difficult for me. Trying to find balance was very hard. 16, the mindset that I had was not compared to an adult mother. So as I continued on, I tried to get back involved with cheerleading and went out for cheerleading again, and even was told by my advisor that because of my skills, she would have to put me back on. But because of my situation of being a teenage mom, she couldn't even put me back as head cheerleader, which was okay at the time, but she advised me that because of that, I didn't represent the ideal role model. My senior year, I got voted on the homecoming court, and it was controversy in regards to that because I did have a child. I was on the Miss THS court as well as voted most popular in school. I tried to maintain a positive attitude throughout school, but things didn't go as I planned, and eventually I ended up dropping out of school before a month before graduation. At the age of 18, I got pregnant with my second child. I already had a baby, and this child was coming, not by the same father, a different father. And so at the age of 18, I had a little boy with no high school education. And being a teenage mom of 2 children, the mindset, the mentality of one is definitely not compared to the mindset that I have now as an adult woman with experiences. Um, I took my baby, my son, and my daughter, packed up a lot of my things because, of course, a lot of situations that was going on at home. I packed them up, went on to Florida to stay with a boyfriend. By these decisions that I made, I ended up putting my children in a dangerous environment. This boyfriend did not physically abuse me, but was secretly abusing my son. At the age of 8 months, he physically abused him to the point where my son went into a coma. For 2.5 weeks, he was on life support. He didn't know whether he was going to make it. He suffered from fluids on his brain. He suffered from a blow to the back of the brain and a fractured skull. He had shaken syndrome, epilepsy, and they diagnosed him as a cerebral palsy individual. He was quadriplegic. I never heard my son talk. I never got an opportunity to see him walk. I heard him say mama one time, and that was the day before he went into a coma. So at this age, I'm 18, 19 years old with 2 children, a 4-year-old daughter, and an unhealthy baby boy. So the decisions that I made put me in certain situations. I don't blame myself, of course, for it. The young man did receive time for what he did to my little boy, but it doesn't change the fact of the situation that already occurred. My son ended up dying 3 years later from the result of the abuse. And, being a teenage mom was very rough. I didn't have the support of the fathers. Neither father supported the way they need to support. One, for ours, and with the son, didn't even own up to him. And with the daughter, he knew her, but still didn't handle the responsibilities of a father as he should have. Because of that, of course, I made a lot of decisions. I did a lot of things on my own, and things were kind of rough. So here I was with 2 children, not a high school diploma, and it was kind of rough being a teenage mom, being a young mom with no experience, no wisdom. The mindset that I had, I was rebellious, so I didn't want to hear what other people had to say. Felt like I was grown enough to make my own decisions. And sometimes when we think that, we put ourselves in situations and you see the manifestation of your own decisions. So with that being said, teenage pregnancy was hard. It caused me to drop out of school. It caused a lot of relationships, and it caused wrong decisions. I'm now 33 years old, happily married, and God has blessed me with another son, and He has also blessed me with another little girl. And I'm very blessed. I miss my son, but I always reflect back and teach my daughter about my life in the past so that she won't make the same mistakes as I did. Being a teenage mom is one of the most difficult things. It's one of the most difficult things that you can even go through as a young girl. I can't even remember not having children at all. I knew I had a life before, but it's really hard to recall the life that I had before children. Being a sophomore pregnant in high school, your life is just beginning as a young woman. And as you enter into womanhood, you automatically enter to motherhood. And those two things, or two stages in life, should not come in together at all. It was very hard. Parents may have looked at me as if I'm a bad influence. I was looked looked upon, laughed at, talked about, you name it. And it happened. But I would not ever wish it. Sometimes as teenagers, we get pregnant for the wrong reasons. They're not always accidental. I was a teenager, I know. Sometimes we think that this baby will strengthen up the relationship that we have with that boyfriend that we have, and that we could be a family. I tell you, the mindset of teenagers cannot be compared to the way we think now. And what we don't think about is that we think about that beautiful little baby as a young girl, but even now, having a child from a relationship in my teens is difficult, because they have transitioned from a baby to an older person. And sometimes situations don't change. Sometimes those fathers still don't do as they should always do. And I'm not knocking all dads, no. I'm not knocking all the relationships, no. But I've seen too many of the relationships separate because they think that a baby was going to keep them together. And that's the way teenagers think sometimes. So I hope my story helps as far as in discourage you from wanting to have a baby in a teenage age. It's not a great, wonderful thing. It's not a fairy tale. It's real, and it's hard, and it's difficult. And you're no longer responsible for yourself. You're responsible for someone else. You can't think about what you want anymore. Enjoy your teenage years. Finish high school. Go to college. Accomplish some dreams. Wait till you meet that right person to say, you know what? I want to have a baby. I want to start a family, because it takes so much wisdom and maturity. And when I was 15, and I felt that I was quite mature at that age, it still was too much for me. At the age of 16, I left home, moved in from place to place, because I refused to listen to the rules of my parents. And I found myself jumping from place to place, not having anywhere to go, but ending up right back at my parents' home. And they always had their doors open for me no matter what. So I hope this story isn't too long. And I hope that you get something out of it. And I hope that some of the details, kind of help you out a little bit about making decisions. Be careful. The best way to avoid teenage pregnancy is abstinence.